right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to No Bullshipping with Hope White. Oh my God. This week has been probably one of the toughest weeks for me since I've been in logistics and supply chain. But this show right here, I have been waiting for all week. The energy is about to be off the hook. I can't wait to bring up my next guest. He is none other than Rahmel Watley of Truck and Hustle. And I'm so excited because Romel interviewed me back in 2020, July of 2020, I believe. And look how it has come full circle. Almost 2 years to the date. Now I'm interviewing Rahmel Watley of Truck and Hustle. So let's bring Rahmel up. So because we want to get into this show today. What's up, Romel?
Hope White, what's going on, miss?
So what do I owe this great pleasure?
Man, come on, man. You already know what this is, man. It's so good to see you. I'm so excited to be here. Yeah. I just love saying your name. I just love yelling Hope White. It's just the syllables, the two one-syllable names. Hope White. What's going on?
I definitely need to trademark it and copyright it, huh?
You do. And I'm ready to make history again. The last two times we connected, we made history on Truck and Hustle. So now it's time to make some history on No Bullshipping.
With Hope White. I'm definitely game for that. So
let's get
you realize that it's almost it has been 2 years since you interviewed me?
No, I don't. It's like the time goes so fast.
Yeah.
Every time I look back at time, it's like, wow, where did the time go? Yeah, so I just stopped counting. But yeah, it's been some time. But we've always stayed connected. So it seems like yesterday, but it has been some time. And I've seen your phenomenal growth. So congratulations on everything you're doing. Truck and Hustle has grown since then.
Yes.
So, it's just an amazing time for both of us.
Thank you. I definitely owe a great deal of my success to you and the Truck and Hustle family. Without that visibility there, taking us to the next platform, you definitely helped with that. So I'm so eternally grateful to you. So anything you need, we're indebted to you.
Thank you so much. Salute. Hope, appreciate that.
All right, so let's get into this because today's show is going to be just for you specifically. And I want to talk to you about journalism and logistics and supply chain and your journey as the CEO and founder of Truck and Hustle. So tell us a little bit, for those who are just watching, never heard of Rahmel Watley, tell us who Rahmel Watley is, your experience in the industry, and how Truck and Hustle came about.
Yeah. All right. So first I'll touch on that word journalist. I don't know if I'm qualified to be called a journalist, right? I don't know because there's a lot of people who, work really hard to get that distinction. And, I want to make sure that they're appreciated, but I appreciate that. Thank you, Hope.
Okay.
To give a little bit of background on Truck and Hustle. So myself personally, I've been in the industry for almost 20 years, believe it or not, right? I started in transportation and logistics at around 2022, like 22. I got my CDL, class A, and I quickly realized that truck driving was not for me because I just wasn't comfortable, right? So I respect drivers, fully, because me being behind the wheel myself, I quickly learned that I couldn't do it, right? I was able to drive. I did enough to pass the test and get the license, but just when I actually got out there on the road, I was like, man, this isn't me. And just, I'm not really mechanically inclined. I'm not really that guy. But for me, driving a truck at that time was a means to an end. I actually got my license through unemployment, right? Because I didn't have a job and there was an opportunity. I'm like reading the papers, like, what can I make some quick money just really fast and just tomorrow? Right? I don't have time. I didn't go to college, anything like that. So I was like, I don't have a degree to leverage. I need to make money tomorrow. So truck driving was one of those things, right? So got my license, but again, quickly learned that it wasn't for me. I was blessed with the opportunity with one of the first companies that I actually went to as a driver. They actually gave me an opportunity to be a manager. So the guy was a young guy and we were talking and I was just explaining to him, like, being very transparent with him, like, yo, this driving thing isn't for me. And he was real cool. He was young, right? Like he was probably like where I'm at now, but like 10, 20 years ago, right? So he was like, man, have you ever thought about being a dispatcher? And at that point, I didn't even know what a dispatcher was. The only time I heard a dispatcher was like maybe through like police dispatch, right? But I didn't know how that translated into trucking, right?
Right.
So I'm like, well, tell me about it. He's like, man, all you got to really do is manage the drivers. You seem like a really cool guy. You're personable. We're having a good conversation. I think you'd be good for it. And I'm like, I would love it. So he's basically looking for a dispatcher at that time. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. He actually ends up giving me the job. Now, mind you, I don't have any transportation or logistics experience at all. Right. I don't know what the job entails, but literally just because me and this guy had a kind of good connection, great conversation, he offered me this job. So I was getting paid, I think $40,000 or $45,000 at the time.
Ooh,
which
big
at
baller.
that time was big money. 40K with no degree.
You
at
doing
that
it all.
time was crazy. I was lit.
Crazy.
I'm basically gonna be able to match, what I would be doing driving the truck, but I can sit in the office. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. So fast forward, not to bore people with that story, man. I end up growing in operations. I end up running that account. It was a multi-million-dollar Pepsi account for a small mom and pop company called Bond Transfer out of Maryland.
Okay,
ran that account. And then I just kind of grew right in my career in transportation. So I went on to working for them. I went on to work for Ryder, which is one of the mega carriers everybody knows. I worked for their RIL division. Worked for a CVS account there, so we were delivering like the daily groceries and dry stuff and all that stuff that goes to CVS. And I just grew in transportation, just learned a lot about management, operations, and so forth and so on. But the entrepreneurial bug was always in me. And I always wanted to start a business. So when I was working at Ryder at CVS, I would notice that during some when we'd have what they call seasonal spikes, right? And we probably kept about 60 drivers on all the time. But because there were always holidays, right? CVS, they ramp up during the holidays. Like Home Depot, same deal, right? So when you have like Valentine's Day, you have Thanksgiving, you have Christmas, you have all these holidays. Peak season, we're going to ramp up to like 80 drivers, right? But they're not going to carry these 80 drivers throughout the whole year. So what they would do is they would get lease drivers, right? So they would reach out to these companies for temp drivers, and these drivers would actually work for these companies, but they would send them to us, and they would be like our drivers for that time being, and we were able to scale up and scale down as needed. So I got really cool with these guys because number one, I was booking them on the loads, and we just had that relationship. And I also got really cool with like the owners of these companies, and I realized that there wasn't a lot of these companies out there. There was a few companies that were supplying us. So I said, man, there's an opportunity here. So I ended up getting into that business. I actually ended up starting my own business in driver leasing. Full circle moment, ended up being a vendor for Ryder. Right. I ended up leaving Ryder, right? Started the driver leasing company, got out there, got some contracts, got some drivers, ended up doing an RFP for Ryder. And now I'm calling back Ryder and I'm sending my drivers to them. So that was like an awesome full circle moment for me to where I'm able to call these managers and high level people that used to get on my damn nerves. Right. And now I can say, you need drivers, man. What do you need? Because mind you, with Ryder, there's a vendors list, right? So it's not even about like, if they have to use me because I'm on the list, right? As long as my rates are in line and as long as they need the drivers, they're gonna use me. So I can talk as much junk as I want. And they needed me now. So it was really cool to do that. And that was a great experience. So fast forwarding again. Starting Truck and Hustle. Just with my experience in starting that company, I realized I did a lot wrong. Right. My first year, I almost went out of business my first year, although we did really, really well. Right. From a gross perspective, we didn't manage our business well, right? We didn't manage our financials. We didn't take workers' compensation into consideration, which was huge, right? In New Jersey, workers' compensation is about 18% of every $100 worth of payroll. You have to pay your drivers. We had independent contractors, which we thought that we could just slide them to the customers and not have to pay workers' comp on them. But at the end, when we did that workers' comp audit, we ended up getting charged for those workers' comp. So a whole big thing that could be a whole nother conversation.
Okay, well, hold on before we go too deep in that, because I'm going to bring you on back. Let me tell some people, hey, because I don't know if you notice over here, but the comments is on fire. We got a big audience over here. So I need to tell some people, hey, so good morning to Juan. We got Jamal out of Texas on. We got Dominga out of Chicago. Good morning. We have I'm gonna just say the last name, Romel. Good evening to you. We have Sarita from Lithia Springs, SJW Logistics checking in. Come on with it. Charles from Uganda this morning. We have Maddie.
Uganda. All right.
We have Maddie We have Maddie from Dublin this morning. Siva from Chicago. Siva says, good morning, Hope and Rahmel. Excited about this episode. Rahmel, thank you for interviewing Hope 2 years ago. You allowed us to gain an awesome mentor. Come on, Siva, with the plug. And then we have Ermin from the UAE. So thank you, everyone, joining us this morning. So go back.
Yeah.
What was your purpose for creating Trucking Hustle?
All right, cool. So Trucking Hustle was born out of the fact that when I started my business, I was very ignorant to business.
Okay.
Right. Like I knew I had the entrepreneurial spirit, but I didn't have the foundational knowledge to really actually run a business. And I felt that there was a huge void, specifically in our community, like with a lot of the people that I knew. Right. They all wanted to be entrepreneurs. Everybody wants to be a boss. Right. It's very trendy and popular to be a boss. But a lot of times we don't know exactly what it takes to be a boss. The fact that we have employees and that they're dependent on us, and what really, being a boss is about service. Right. Serving people. And then also 100% service and understanding how to run a profitable business. So starting Trucking Hustle, number one, I love the platform of podcasting because I always was a podcast listener. Before it became popular, I was, listening to podcasts when nobody was listening to podcasts, right? But most of the podcasts I would listen to were more so like on other business things like e-commerce and other different interests I had, just kind of like, gain general knowledge. But I never really saw anything for trucking, right? So I was like, man, like, is there any trucking podcasts out there? And I'm not going to lie, I found a few, but they just didn't resonate with me, Hope.
They was bland, wasn't it? They
were bland.
They had no salt and pepper on it.
They were snoozers. I'm driving, listening to the podcast, and I'm like, oh man, I'm nodding, right?
Yeah.
So I said, we gotta spice this up, man. I said,
we gotta put a little flavor on this thing.
There's a lot of phenomenal people in this industry that I don't feel, I won't say have a voice, but there's not a platform to give them a voice where everybody could hear them, right? And hear all the wisdom and all the stories and all the inspiration and information they have to bring to the table. So I said, I want to do a podcast. And I wanted to start one just more so kind of like on like some, motivational type stuff. I was like, nah, that's corny. Yeah. But we gotta hook it to something. We gotta hook it to something that we can have a community. Trucking. Why not? I've been doing it all my life. Why not start in trucking? Why not focus on transportation, logistics? Why not focus on entrepreneurship, the things that I love?
Absolutely.
So that's how Trucking Hustle was born. My very first episode, just to come full circle with this rider thing. My first episode, I interviewed a guy named Dante Dean, who was actually one of my drivers when I worked at Ryder, right? But he had went on to start his own business. He became an owner operator. He was working for the ports in New Jersey. He's pulling containers. And I knew about that because we had stayed in touch. And I was like, man, I'd love to interview you and talk about that transition. So episode 1, I got on with Dante. Dante, vice versa, saw me transition from working as his dispatcher to starting my company. Right. So we both had that in common where we both saw each other's growth, saw each other's journey, and both saw that transition. So we discussed that on that very first episode. And that's just where everything was born.
That's where it has been. So
that's where it was born.
Since episode 1, give or take, how many different logistics, transportations, or resources have you interviewed on Trucking Hustle? How many companies?
Well, man, I mean, roughly about 150.
Shut up.
Right. 150. Isn't that crazy, Hope?
Do you realize that?
When I think about it, it's crazy because like when I go back into like the catalog and I look back and it's like, man, I remember like this, like it's just so weird, like because you just keep on moving week to week to week. You continue to create content.
Keep going.
And the awesome thing is, for the most part, I'm able to kind of stay connected to most of the people that I interview. And we've kind of built this like back end network, but obviously you can't talk to everybody like you want to because life continues to go on.
Absolutely.
Right. But I'm pretty much connected to everybody for the most part. And it's been I would say at least 150, if not more, entrepreneurs that we've interviewed from different verticals, different niches in transportation and logistics all across the nation. Man, it's amazing.
So let's take this segue into my next question to you, which is, since you've interviewed over 150 different entities from all walks of life, from dump trucks to freight brokering to container storage, container drayage, heavy haul, oil field, dispatching services. I see you doing factoring and resources now, getting into the tech piece of the business. what has Rahmel learned from the moment that he was dispatching to now about trucking and logistics?
That's a great question. I've learned so much. Number one, I've learned that there's more than one way to skin a cat, right?
Come on, cat. Come on,
Right,
skin him.
right.
Come on
Like
with
I've learned that cliche. There's more than one way to skin a cat. You learn
Yes.
that everybody will tell you their way is the right way, but
Yes.
everybody's way is the right way if it worked for them, right?
If it works for them, that's right.
If it works for them. So I've
Yes.
learned that there's no true like North Star. The
Yes.
North Star is whatever your North Star is, whatever your journey is.
That's right.
And there's so many different variables to that
Mhm.
because it's
Mhm.
not always just simply the work, it's everything that's around the work. It's the people you meet, it's the
Yeah.
network that you have,
Yes. The
right? It's the different
relationships.
thing, the relationships, the different things
Yes.
that happen along your journey.
Yes.
So all these things, you know, combined are what really, you know, is your journey. And
Mhm.
there's no one way to do it. So just in talking
Yeah.
to so much people, you'll realize that a lot of people have hard stances on
Mhm.
how to do certain things.
Yeah.
But I always say that the man who knows everything knows that he knows nothing at all.
There you go.
Right. And that's the truth because
Yeah.
I talk to so many people, I
Mhm.
see so many different success stories. I can
Mhm.
truly sit in my seat and say,
Mhm.
yeah, that might have worked for you. And you might say that won't work for somebody else, but I got some receipts that said it did work for this person.
Absolutely.
So therefore, you
Absolutely.
might want to rethink that, right? So I
Absolutely.
implore everybody to just run your own race
Come
and
on.
know that if you
Brother.
know, chew the meat and spit out the bones. Whatever doesn't
on.
work for you, spit it out. And what you can apply and implement into your business, do that, right?
Come on.
Use those resources, but don't think that somebody else's journey is yours because we all have to run our own race. And that's the main thing that I've learned.
I so value for that statement. I think that is very important in our community, understanding that your race is your race. Just pull from different bits and pieces, but ultimately you need to create your own path. So I value so much for that. I want to
100%.
pivot here just a little bit,
For sure.
because I see a lot of vertical integration with Truck and Hustle. I've seen a complete about face. We went
Facts.
from focusing on the small businesses, the small entities, and then we went to going out into the community to some of these companies and entities that you've interviewed, showing what people actually do, what their companies are actually doing, that we're actually doing the work. And now I see conferences, I see global networks form. And talk about that vertical integration with Truck and Hustle.
Yeah, I think it's just like the natural progression of just, you know, from being an entrepreneur and being a builder and somebody who just likes to try and do different things. And I'm a creative first. Like
Absolutely.
I used to be a rap artist like back in the day. I don't rap anymore. Don't
Yeah,
ask me to
Come
do
on.
no lyrics
Come on.
though. Maybe at the
I
end of
don't
the show,
know nothing about rap, so all I
maybe
know
at
is
the
a
end of the
hook.
show, I'll give you a little something.
Come on.
But right, because of that creative bug that's inside of me, I'm always like thinking of new ideas. Right, I can't help myself. Like my wife always tells me, she's like, "You got to slow down and do one thing at a time." Right,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
true. Like the person who chases many rabbits don't catch none. Right, so
Come on.
100% focus on one, make sure you get it,
Yeah.
and then move on. But moving forward, right? Like I just love just to be creative. So
Right.
in starting Truck and Hustle, I see so many opportunities for different verticals.
Right.
It's like it's a no-brainer for me.
Right.
It's like we start with the audio podcast, right? Where we're
Okay.
talking virtually the way we're doing. And then
Right.
it's like, man, how can we make this better? How can we take this to another level? The natural maturation of that for me is going there, sitting live. Number one,
That's
you
right.
have you get to build a bond with that person. You get to
Yes.
see it.
Yeah.
You get to see it right there. And for some
Feel the
reason, like,
passion.
the conversation is a little bit different when you're sitting right in front of
Yes.
somebody, right? And then you get to know that person. So the bond is a little bit deeper, right?
Absolutely.
And it's just investing more in the aesthetic of the show, right? To where it's like, we're there, we're on scene, we're on location. If you have a warehouse, you can see the pallets and everything right in the back. Like it's there, we're on scene. So I felt just for longevity, long-term view, I wanted people to just be able to see that what we're investing into the show. And then just as we move into different verticals like merch, like people love Truck and Hustle. So you got to throw you a sweatshirt or a t-shirt, right? People want to meet in person. So we started the networking events. We started these resets, right? To where people can connect. So we're going all over the nation, connecting people. We did a brunch in Houston, Texas on August 28th. Over 400 people showed up.
Crazy.
Over 400 people pulled up. right?
Crazy
Network, it was a zoo in there. Anybody who was in there knows it was a zoo. You could barely move, and we had a huge space. Like the space was huge, and you still couldn't move.
Yeah.
So, right. So we see that there's that component that's missing, right? Being able to go to these different places and the individuals that are on the show being able to pull up with other people who are in the business. They could trade resources, trade secrets, do all that. Because there's nothing like just having a drink or having some dinner or, you know, just relax and listen to some music with somebody that's going to really make you get to know them. Like they say all the time in like corporate, they're like, you know, the best deals are made on the golf course, right?
Yes.
It's the same type of thing. Right. That's where the deals are made, where you can let your hair down, be yourself, and people get to know you because people do business with people they know, like, and what?
Absolutely.
Know, like, and trust. Right.
Absolutely.
So basically we started that. But then for me, in my mind, it's like, all right, how do we plant our flag?
Yeah.
I need Truck and Hustle to plant the flag. Right.
Yeah.
So for me, the only way to plant the flag is to do something that is consistent. On an annual basis, something that people can look forward to, something that will be able to bring all these different thoughts and all these different ideas together and under one roof. And that's where Freight Fest was born. So the reason why I called it Freight Fest is, number one, I was born in October. October 2nd is my birthday. So I'm a Libra.
Are you a Libra?
I am a Libra.
Okay.
Don't say anything bad about Libras because we're the best. Right. So I am a Libra. So fall is my season. I love fall. Number one, I like to dress. I like to be able to dress up or dress down. It's not too hot, not too cold. Right. In Halloween they have Fright Fest. You know, people get excited about that. Right. I was like, nah, man. I was like, how could we do something that's huge, that's global, that everybody can identify with in transportation and logistics? And it's Freight Fest. It's always freight. If that freight is moving A to Z, regardless of if it's on a boat, an airplane, a container, a truck, last mile, whatever. If you're doing DoorDash, you moving food, that's freight. It's all freight, right? So I wanted to bring it all together. So we created Freight Fest. And man, that's what it's going to be. It is going to be an extension of what Truck and Hustle is as a platform and a community. You'll be able to see all these different niches, all these different verticals under one roof. You'll be able to explore. It'll be like an exploratory of all these things. And at the same time, be able to still have the foundational components that every business need, right? Because regardless what vertical you need, we still have to talk about compliance. We still have to talk about finances. We still have to talk about factoring, insurance. These are the things that are going to be components of regardless marketing, right? Yeah. Regardless what business you're in, you're going to have to implement these things, right? So we tie all these things together, but then we have that underlay of the important foundational wisdom that we need. So that is Freight Fest mixed with mixers, some fun, some energy, no snoozers, no falling asleep while you're there in the conference. Because I've been to some, no shade, you know what I mean? But sometimes you get a little lonely.
Stick a pin right there. I want to tell some people hello. Hold on 1 minute, because I want to hit that. Stick a pin right there. So we got some more people that have joined us. Oh my God, Rahmel, these comments is on fire. So we got Kavita from Matrice Solutions. We got Kenyette from Tampa. Hey, Kenyette, how you doing? Jay Jamal says the catalog of collection of people that's going to be there is going to be amazing. Sue from On Q Logistics says my two favorites in the game. We have a LinkedIn user, we don't know who that is, says great conversation. What advice would you give entrepreneurs that are just beginning, Rahmel?
Here's my advice. I don't even gotta wait. I would say number one, okay. I'm gonna try not to be cliche. I'm gonna try to give some good tangible information here.
I want to hear from Rahmel.
Yeah. Okay. Number one, you have to gain deep knowledge about something, right?
Yes.
Deep knowledge is so important. When I say deep knowledge, I mean become a practitioner of whatever it is you want to get into.
That's right.
Read every book, watch every YouTube. Yes. Find people who are doing the same thing you want to do and do the deep knowledge. Now, the reason I say that is not just because it's going to help you with your business. I say that because when you have an understanding about something, right, and you understand it better than somebody else, right, you can then become a resource to your customers. Yes. Right. When you could tell your customers more about their product than they can.
Oh, come on, somebody. Church.
Right.
I'm laying the tile on the altar. Right? Come on with it.
There's power in that. right? So if you take the time to gain that deep knowledge about whatever vertical you want to get into, really study and understand, look at the white papers, look at everything you can just to understand it, to be able to talk that talk. Because when you go into those rooms and you're able to talk that talk, people are going to look at you differently than everybody else who's selling something. At that point, you don't have to sell anymore.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? You're not selling anymore. Good dope sells itself.
Wait, we ain't selling no dope on no bullshit with Hope White. Bring it on back. He went back to his old days.
No, that was never me. But listen, I'm quoting
about is knowledge. Okay,
that's right. That's a quote from was that American Gangster?
American Gangster.
Yeah. Blue Magic. Right, Frank Lucas. So I say that for all my folks who understand that, right? So if you have a product, I'm sorry, Hope. I gotta be me. If you have
I want you to be. That's what makes it good TV.
if you have a product, right, that sells itself, and that product can be you can productize yourself. Productize your knowledge, because in the beginning, all you have is that.
That's right.
Number two, what I'm going to put with that is be honest, be transparent.
Absolutely.
Don't go out here and lie to these folks and, tell them you've been in business for 57 years and, 100 years of business because you, your partner, and your 20 other friends got combined 100 years of transportation and logistics. Nah, man, listen, use that to your advantage, right? This is how you flip it. You say, listen, I understand that there are other companies that may be more established than me, right? Yes. But they're not as hungry as me.
Absolutely.
Right? They have 1,000 customers. I only have you.
Yes, right.
I'm going to focus on you. I'm going to make sure I do the best job for you. And if you give me a chance, I promise you that I will deliver. So you have to flip your disadvantage and make it an advantage.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So people always go into the mindset that you got to fake it till you make it. You don't always got to fake it till you make it. You got to be real.
You got to be real.
Because people can see through the BS. Don't let somebody catch you in a lie or catch you saying when they ask you a question, if you don't know, you don't know. Listen, sir, I don't know that. But what I will do is I will find out and I will make sure I get right back to you and I will follow up. Be transparent, be real. People see that. And if you do that, I guarantee you, you're going to have longevity in business. That's what it's about. Stop trying to fake it till you make it. That's bad advice.
Oh, wow. Whew. Ramel, we done went the whole 27 minutes, and I think we can go another 27. You hear me?
Let's go. I'm ready. Whatever you need to do. I told you I was here, Hope. I told you I was here for it. I'm ready. Because I don't get to talk on my podcast. I just close my mouth and let my guests do their thing, man. But I'm here. I love it.
So, closing out here.
Yeah.
You have dropped so much on us so quickly. It is insane. And I really value your honesty and transparency there.
For sure.
Freight Fest. You pulled me out of my shell. I will be there.
Yes.
But I know you're going to have a slew of top people in the industry. Do you want to give a few of those who are going to be there so people can know to go ahead and register now at freightfest.com?
Yeah, for sure. So I don't want to just name drop because I don't want to forget anybody, right? So what I will say people to do, check out freightfest.com.
Yeah.
If the link should be up there somewhere. Check it out. Check out the speakers that you see there. That speaker list is not complete.
Yeah.
It is still evolving. It is still growing. So that is what we have so far. And there are some other things that we have going on. So number one, follow that list. Follow freightfest.com. Watch for updates. Watch Truck and Hustle social media. We did create an Instagram for Freight Fest called Freight Festival. So just watch our social media as we continue to make announcements. But what I can promise you, Hope, is that the speaker, the speakers, the guests, the run of show, everything that we're putting together is going to be top notch. It's going to be innovative. It's going to be creative. It's going to be different. It's going to be like nothing that you've ever experienced before at a conference.
Right.
It will have the truck and hustle ish twist to it. So we will make sure you have fun. We will make sure there's energy in the building, and we will make sure that you leave better than you came. Ultimately, I wanted to make sure that this conference is not, no pun intended, just selling hope. We just don't want to sell hope. No pun intended, right? We want you to be able to leave with tangible things that you can implement next day.
Absolutely.
Right. So I'm going to personally speak with everybody and just make sure, hey, what's that framework? What's that resource? What's that network? What's that tool? What's that tip? We have to make sure that is in our content, because too often people walk away from these opportunities with just not enough. They're not enough.
That's right.
Enough. They're not full enough. And I completely understand that people are spending their hard-earned money not only to attend, but to travel and so forth and so on. And we have to make sure that there's value given here, y'all. So that is the most important thing to me. Make sure that we give value, right? And make sure that you leave empowered. Make sure you leave inspired, but you also leave with the tools to really go ahead and implement this information that you're going to get over this 3-day weekend. It's at the Royal Sonesta Galleria Hotel in Houston, Texas. Beautiful, beautiful location downtown. Top notch. We got the top notch event planners. So the decor and all that is going to be off the hook. Man, we invested a lot in this, right? We invested a lot in making sure that this experience is dope for everybody.
Absolutely.
So we're not bringing anything half. Can I say ass? Can I have?
Go ahead, half ass. You say ass.
Ass to the table.
We know you're gonna bring it to the heat. Tell us how we can find Trucking Hustle.
All right.
What platform?
Let me wrap it up. So one, go to freightfest.com right now. Register to get in. The early bird tickets end October 1st for hotel discounts, and then also early bird tickets. So do that right now, because October 1st is literally right around the corner. Do that. Go to freightfest.com. Check it out. For any and all things Truck and Hustle, we're on all platforms at Truck and Hustle. You go to our YouTube page, Truck, just how it's spelled there, Truck and Hustle. Go to our Instagram, TikTok. We're everywhere. You can't miss us. Just find us, like, share, comment, holla at us.
And we can find you on Fox Soul too, right?
Oh, Fox Soul, yeah. So you can find us also on Fox Soul. Shout to the good people at Fox Soul. We're also there for giving us that opportunity to be on their platform as well. You can find us on Fox Soul too, Truck and Hustle. Yeah, just everywhere. Truckandhustle.com.
All right.
Everywhere Truck and Hustle. We'll continue to keep on growing, motivating. Before I go, you know what I always got to say, Hope. If you smell something burning, it's only a desire. Everybody has that burning desire. That's why they listen to shows like yours. That's why they listen to shows like Truck and Hustle, because they wanna be better. They want to do more. They're not wasting their time scrolling through Instagram, liking and sharing. Nah, they here right now trying to gain some wisdom and some knowledge. So keep on doing what y'all doing. I love y'all, man. If you see me in the street, come give me a hug, holla at me. Let's take a picture. Let's do it. Hope, I love you. Thank you so much for everything you contributed to the platform. You are one of the biggest episodes ever on Truck and Hustle. I thank you so much and salute you for that. Keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on shining. And, we fam for life.
All right. Well, you have a good day, Rahmel, and we'll talk soon. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining No Bullshipping with Hope White. That conversation was phenomenal. Definitely want to catch the recap on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And y'all have a wonderful Friday. Until next time, talk to you soon.